Let's now move on to our second main topic today. And our second main topic today gets brought to us by Elijah Johnson, who writes, have you seen the first review of that new Will Smith movie, Gemini Man? The reviews are looking outstanding. They are saying Will Smith's performance combined with the motion capture render technology are completely bananas. It was already a must-see, but if these reviews hold true, do you think this could propel him into Oscar contention? No. Let me know your thoughts and bring on the filthy. All right, thanks a lot for sharing that. And yeah, for those of you who maybe have not heard, the first reactions for Gemini Man have started to come out. Now, look, I have said for a while, I think this movie looks like it could be really good. It's not just some, random action film. Look who's directing it. Look who's starring in it. Look at the rest of the cast. And let's get the idea of the basic story. I think this could be something pretty special. And as it turns out, the first bunch of reviews are coming in and they're sounding really, really good. I'm just going to read a couple of them off here, but they're all basically reflecting the same kind of tone. Eric Davis wrote, just saw Ang Lee's Gemini Man and it's legit. Old Will Smith versus young Will Smith equals visually visceral experience that's absolutely wild to watch at times. Again, Ang Lee delivers bold, unique action that's on par with the best. See it in 3D for sure, he writes. Max Every writes, Ang Lee's Gemini Man is a huge breakthrough, not only for 120 frames per second presentations, action sequences are breathtaking in the format. Will Smith's winning performance shows the level of scrutiny that a real movie star can stand up to. If you don't see it in theaters, you're missing the experience. And Cohen writes, just saw Gemini Man and it's wild. The young version of Will Smith is incredible, plus some truly beautiful action sequences and a really great performance by Mary Elizabeth Winstead. I love her. The only 3D movie I'll ever endorse, which is interesting for me to hear because I don't like 3D. I don't like 3D at all. So hearing people say something like that, that gets me kind of excited. And Jordan, last one I'll read here. Jordan Zarkin writes, just saw the final cut of Ang Lee's Gemini Man, and it's probably the only movie I'd ever say you absolutely must see in 3D and 4K if possible. I've never seen anything like it. It felt like I was inside the movie. So overall, it sounds like Ang Lee has delivered that experience. Now, all the people that are loving it, they're also saying, hey, you know what, the story's okay. The story, it's not like it's a terrible story with all great visual effects. Story's okay. Not something they're going to win an Academy Award for. But they're just saying this movie overall is an incredible experience, which, again, guys, I mean, I've been saying we shouldn't be surprised by that. You got Ang Lee directing it with one of the biggest movie stars in the world, and I think the trailers have been incredible. So I was totally stoked to see this. I got to tell you, I'm not surprised to hear these first reactions. Now, just because all these first reactions are good, most of the times we hear these great first reactions, the movie ends up being great, but sometimes we've seen great first reactions and then maybe not love the movie so much. That's possible here, but I got a lot of faith in this film. Rob, you're hearing these reactions. Any surprise? And how much faith do you have in this film going into it?
Well, at CinemaCon, you weren't at the Paramount presentation, but Ang Lee came out. They gave out 3D glasses and they showed a section of the film. And they showed it in high frame rate. A lot of people, what high frame rate is, HFR, is normally movies are shot at 24 frames a second. And it's basically 24 still frames that run fast, create persistence of vision and the illusion of movement. A 120 frame film is giving you 120 frames instead of 24 frames. And it gives you, it's a hyper real, hyper clear image. And it's insane when it works. Sometimes people look at it and go, oh, it looks like a soap opera. It looks more like video. The Hobbit movies were done at high frame rate. This was different. I saw this, at least for the clip that they showed, I was like, wow. I mean, that was really impressive. And it was just a short clip. But I can't wait to see this movie. The technology in terms of deep fake technology, the way they've recreated Will Smith's younger face. I watched, there's a great video about how they did it online you can watch. Again, Ang Lee has always pushed Life of Pi. I mean, Billy Pilgrim's Halftime Walk. Billy Pilgrim's the character from Slaughterhouse-Five, but who's the? It's Billy.
Yeah, I remember Long Halftime Walk.
Yeah, Long Halftime Walk. That was done in HFR too, but I don't know. This was something different, and this was. Somebody said bananas in what you wrote. It's bananas, and I can't wait to see this film. I can't wait to see it in 3D. I can't wait to see it in high frame rate because, along with James Cameron, Ang Lee is really trying to push the medium of cinema in terms of technology. And, these two guys are out at the forefront of, and I can't wait. I'd love to see somebody do a horror movie in HFR. Like,
Well,
really go for it.
I got to see this one first to kind of solidify an opinion about that. But I know I'm excited to see this. I'm not sorry. Aaron, where are your expectations at right now? And what's your reactions when you're hearing these sorts of reactions coming out of the movie?
Well, first of all, I'm shocked about all of the kudos for the 3D aspect of it, because I'm with you, John. I always want to enjoy a 3D experience because I want to feel like I'm really in it, but then when I get there, I'm so often terribly disappointed. And if you're not right in the center at the perfect seat and you're kind of off to the side, it just kind of feels weird. So I'm glad that so many people are enjoying the 3D experience. That makes me much more interested in experiencing that. And Rob, I do have a question about this HRF you said?
HFR. HFR,
thank you. How many frames per second do we see when we're watching, say, a football game? Because that's what I don't connect it to a soap opera. I connect it to, like, when you're watching a football game, it looks hyper real. Is that the same thing, or is it?
Yeah, it can't. It's not nearly. It's not that, but it depends on how many frames. Sometimes you're looking at it 24 frames. A lot of times it's 30 frames, or now 60 frames.
Yeah, it becomes kind of
And it really depends. So this would be twice that. Now I would say, like what you said, Aaron. Part of the problem with 3D is a lot of the theaters are not optimized. They're not bright enough. They're not optimized to present 3D the way it should be presented. Mm-hmm. And another thing is, most movies that we see today are not shot in 3D.
Oh,
they're converted later.
Oh, okay.
And when you're shooting something in 3D with these kinds of cameras, and it's designed to maximize, there hasn't been a movie since Avatar that has been designed to be experienced in 3D the way this movie is. I think maybe that's not Life of Pi too, his other Ong Lee movie, but I think that's part of it. And I'd go see this in HFR IMAX. I think that would be the way to see it, because IMAX theater with laser projection are bright enough that I don't think you will be disappointed.
I'm really excited about watching that video that you mentioned of the making of, especially with the deepfake, because I am very concerned about the deepfake. I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it. And this is obviously an instance where we're like, oh, that's super cool. But at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, all right, well, how far can we go with this? Because if all of a sudden we can deepfake Scarlett Johansson and she doesn't really feel like the movie, but she approves the script and she can't necessarily do it because she's got a conflict, and they can just license her likeness and pay her, a fraction of what she would get paid if she was physically doing it herself. Why would anybody hire me?
Right. Now we're getting into a whole nother topic altogether.
Right. Sorry. Totally different topics, but I'm very excited to see this movie. And as far as Will Smith and his design and his potential to win an Oscar, of course he wants to win an Oscar. Every role that he's doing from here on out for the rest of his career is a role that he thinks this might win me, or at least get me nominated for an Oscar.
Other than maybe Bad Boys 3. I don't think he has delusions
you don't think
of
he's got a chance in that?
But I should say, remember, I should have said deepfake technology, because they were using motion capture and he was acting both roles. So he was playing his younger self, but they did motion capture and they were able to, the effects are astonishing, but he still had to act. Like, they can't replace actors yet. Yeah. And I still think that there is that human element that it would be so hard for even the best AI to put the twinkle in an eye of an actor.
Until every actor of a certain level starts going in and having every single facial movement recorded.
We're getting off topic here.
Yes, sorry. Rob, stop trying to put me. Yes, listen. I'm excited about the movie, and I'm excited for Will Smith there.
All right, guys, question is, where has your excitement been for Gemini Man at this point? And do hearing these reactions, are you surprised of them? Does it change where your excitement level is? I know I'm dying to see this movie. What do you think? Jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right.